I'm going to be ranking muscles on their ability to attract females, all the way from the absolute panty dropper muscle groups to ones that are really just irrelevant at attracting girls. And we're going to jump straight into it now with the triceps. I'm going to straight away decide that triceps are going to have to go into required. These are kind of a gym bro muscle. Most guys are going to be prioritizing their triceps when they're doing any lifts, their bench press, things like that. But realistically, it's not that important in the female gaze at attracting girls. Yes, it is required because you actually do need size in the arms. However, no girl has ever said, oh my god, look at that dude's triceps. They're more concerned with other parts of the arms, which we'll get into, such as the biceps. So we're going to put it into required. You still need to have size there, but it is not that important. Next, we're going to be jumping into forearms. Now, forearms are a different story. In Australia, where I'm at, it's quite hot all the time. So I'm pretty much always wearing a short sleeve shirt and my forearms are always visible. And although they're largely genetic, the size of the forearms doesn't actually matter too much. For female attractiveness, it's more so the vascularity in the forearms. So if you have super veiny forearms, then it's just a signal of good genetics. It's a signal of positive, good health, and it's just attractive. There's something lustful that girls, absolutely love about forearms. And, whenever I send a picture of my arms to a girl or whatever, they lust over it and it's something that they really, really like. So I'm going to have to put this into big benefit. It is an eye catcher, but it's only a big benefit because we can't really change too much, the genetic portion of our forearms. We can increase the size a bit, but realistically, it's nothing like increasing the size of our chest or anything. The forearms are a relatively small part of the, body. The extent to which they're going to grow is basically genetic. Some guys are born with big forearms, some guys have small forearms. So that's why it's going to be in big benefit. Next, we're going to be jumping into the quadriceps, but specifically the VMO portion of the quadricep. Now, this is the inner portion of the quad, which shows as a teardrop muscle when you develop it nice. Honestly, this is one of the best portions of the leg to develop if you want to be catching females' eyes and actually being attractive. The reason is because this muscle is so polarizing, it is so aesthetic right on the knee. If you're wearing pretty much any type of shorts, you can see this developed part of your quad. Unless you're wearing booty shorts right up to your ass like a homo, then you're not really going to be able to see how big or how massive your legs are. But if you're wearing a bit of a longer pair of shorts, you can still see the developed VMO, that teardrop muscle. We can target that by doing a lot of leg extensions. And because it is usually a lean area of our leg, it's going to make us look more lean and more athletic, which of course is a very big positive for attracting girls. We want to be building a lean, aesthetic, attractive physique. So that's why I'm going to have to put it into big benefit, just because the legs are not a huge indicator of, attraction. Yes, you need developed legs, but they're not going to be the be all end all like other muscle groups in this list are. Next, we're going to be moving on to the lats. Now, this is where we're talking. Every single time I have had a girl comment on my physique or be attracted to my physique, it is one of a few things, but the most common thing has to be about my back. Girls lust over big, sexy, wide backs, and the lats are what contribute to giving you that V-taper. I say it all the time. It is my fucking saying. The V-taper physique is what you need to build, and many guys are realizing this now as well. It is the physique that is built like this, and from a distance it's going to be attractive because girls are going to see your V-taper and you look more dominant, but also close up it's just going to create a more powerful frame. And obviously, to polarize a girl, we need to be more masculine. The bigger and more broad and attractive and powerful we seem, the more masculine we are, the more feminine of a girl we can attract. And in general, for some reason, girls just lust over the lats. So if you can build big lats, these are absolutely a panty dropper. I have literally, no bullshit, had girls take pictures of my back without my freaking consent, without me knowing, and then they'd show me later and be like, oh my god, your back looks so sexy. The other day, it happened when I was out swimming with a girl. It happened another time with one of my girlfriends. It happens every single time. They're always commenting on my back. It is the biggest ROI muscle that you can build if you want to become attractive quick as fuck, especially the lat region. Next, we're going to be jumping into the calves. Now, this is taking a bit of a turn. I get commented positively on my lats. However, my calves are a different story. And you might be like me. You might have shit genetics as well. And much like the forearms, calves are basically 90% genetic. You can train them, you can make them more vascular, like I've done myself, but to get size on them, it's not really that possible. So for that reason, because we can't really do much about it, I'm going to have to put them in irrelevant. Now, this might be a cope because I have small calves myself, but realistically, a lot of the times in appeal situations, in things like dates, things like walking around the street, you're more than likely going to be wearing pants. And if you follow strategies to optimize how you look and how your style is, you're probably not going to be wearing tight as fuck pants, especially if you have small calves, because you're not trying to show that off. The whole point of becoming attractive, becoming better as a guy, improving ourselves is to boost our strengths, but to hide and conceal some of our flaws as well, especially flaws that we can't change that much, like our calves. So I'm gonna put them in irrelevant, because for me at least, when I'm wearing pants, nobody knows because I wear cargos. But the problem you'll come into is if you're wearing shorts, if you're at the beach, you do still need to develop the big benefit muscles like the quads and other parts, which I'll explain in later lists, that will actually carry your legs and make your calves, small calves especially, not look so obvious. But, take it for a W. Unfortunately, I don't have. But if you have big calves, then consider yourself lucky, bro. You can basically rock shorts and whatever shoes you want. But for me, no, sir. Next, we're going to be jumping into the deltoids, but a specific part of the deltoid, which is the front delt. Now, I'm going to straight away have to put these into eye catcher. Why? Because they are going to contribute to the V-taper physique, which we know is so attractive. When you're wearing a shirt, you need to have bigger shoulders so it stands out and acts as a cap. And we know that there's 3 parts of the shoulder: the rear, side, and the front head. The front head will give you a lot of the bulk. The front head is what most guys are training when they're doing all their pressing movements, so it's getting good development. And when you combine it with the other parts of the shoulder, it's going to create this big, round, Death Star boulder shoulder look, which we need for attractiveness. Now, they can be a bit of a failure and they can detract from your physique if you train them too hard and you neglect other parts of your body and you end up looking like a slouched over caveman. But if you can have a well-rounded physique with good shoulders, especially if you have veiny shoulders, which comes from training the correct exercises, which I show you how to do inside of my community, which will help you glow up and change your life forever, then you will increase the amount of eye-catching ability your shoulders have, because it's where the front delts are, that where all the veins, the spider veins, the fucking juicy looking vascularity can appear, especially if you're training your shoulders hard and doing lots of vertical pressing, which again I show you how to do inside of Project Undeniable, my school, which you can join, link in the description. But with that being said, I'm going to have to put in eye catcher just because it develops the total well-rounded aesthetic masculine physique. And finally, we're going to be jumping into the traps. However, not the upper traps, not the mid traps. We're going to be talking about the lower area of the traps. That is the part that just joins behind the shoulder blades, just around this area here, right? We're talking about the lower traps, and the reason we're talking about them is because they contribute to the thickness and the sexiness and appeal of your back. You don't want to have a back that is just flat and wide. You still need depth, you still need thickness in the back, because that's going to give you, especially in special good lighting conditions, that's going to give you that super grainy, super defined and separated Greek sculpture, Greek god physique back, which of course we know the back is fucking super attractive. So that's why we are going to have to put them inside of eye catcher as well. Now, no, actually, I'm going to put it into big benefit. I would put in eye catcher if we were just considered about having no shirt on. But we have a shirt on most of the time. So you're not going to be able to notice the low traps too much in a shirt because your shoulder blades are likely going to be, sticking out and hiding them. But when you have a shirt off, these are going to be a crazy benefit, a massive halo, and you're going to need them. So many guys are not training them. You can train them by doing rows, some other exercises, which I can teach you as well. But that being said, that is the part 1 of the list of muscles that will get you girls, ranking them on how effective they are. I hope this has been interesting, and I hope this has opened your eyes and made you realize what type of physique you should be building. And I teach this inside of my community, again, if you're interested. But let me know if you want part 2 to this video. There are so many more muscles to cover. But with that being said, remember that progress is purpose, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.